Hi, welcome to Focus with Big Smith. My name is Leroy Smith, and today we'll be speaking with Commissioner of Police Acting, Nigel Hoppy. Commissioner, welcome to the program.
Thank you very much, Leroy.
All right, so we're going to discuss a range of issues, but before we do that, uh, some people might not know who the Commissioner of Police Acting is. Some people may know you from finance, the Department of the Force, where you served for most of your years. Please do tell us a bit about Nigel Hoppy, your childhood, your schooling, and your entrance into the Guyana Police Force.
Okay, well, thank you very much again. Like I've said, good morning. I'm Nigel Hoppy, hails from the village of Iflat on the west coast of Demerara. I joined the Guyana Police Force on the 16th of November, 1987. So 2 days ago, I would have celebrated 33 years service in the job. In my formative years, I worked in A Division, the then B Duty Center. And after that, I was posted to the Tactical Services Unit, where I spent some time. I then went to the Police Finance Office, where I spent a lot of years being promoted to the level of Finance Officer. I served as Finance Officer, and subsequent to me being promoted to Deputy Commissioner, I was posted to Special Branch, where I headed that department before becoming Acting Commissioner of Police. But just to say that during that period, I was, on the social side, I was the opening bowler for the Guyana Police Force. I currently heads I'm the chairman of the cricket section. But with request to training, I had done some training regarding the development in the force. I'm probably the last policeman in the Guyana Police Force to have done the junior command training in Jamaica. I'm trained in critical incident in Jamaica. I trained at the Red Track, the Regional Drug Center in Jamaica. I did a return of foreign terrorist fighters in the UK, in England, countering small arms. I was trained in Santiago, Chile. I did the e-policing in Estonia, and I was part of the Smart City team that went to China, where we're now having the Huawei company having cameras placed countrywide. In addition to that, I've been trained in leadership in law enforcement in New Mexico and advanced management in law enforcement in El Salvador, just to name a few. There are several local courses which I've been trained in, which would include leadership by Kayville School of Business, University of the West Indies, and also the Ohio State Police. I went to Iflat Primary School and Richard Ishmael Secondary, the then Indian Educational Trust College. I am the holder of a degree in management and a master's in business administration from Australian Institute of Business. But just to say that Nigel Hoppy would have celebrated 33 years in the Guyana Police Force, and I have enjoyed every moment of my tenure in the Guyana Police Force.
Happy belated birthday, Commissioner.
Thank you very much.
Commissioner, COVID-19 has brought its challenges to every facet across the world. How has it been affecting or impacting on the operations of the Guyana Police Force?
Well, as you're aware, prior to this order, which commenced on the 1st of November, we had a 1-month period where we were doing more moral suasion than anything else. So while there are 4 E's that we've adopted to ensure that we address the issue of COVID-19 that we're encountering or faced with, which would mean engagement, education, encouragement, and the final one is enforcement. We sought to ensure that there was more moral suasion then. But from the 1st of November, we have upped the ante, so to speak. And so we are ensuring that more additional enforcement or more enforcement is being done. But to say that it isn't a challenge would not be a correct statement if I'm to say that. But just to say that we are grappling with the resources available. We've launched Operation COVID Curb, which is in conjunction with the Guyana Defense Force, where there's a joint operations to address the issue of the breaches regarding the COVID-19 measures. And so we continue to work in that regard. There are constant task force meetings that we would attend and coin strategies to ensure that the issues we're confronted with are tackled professionally.
To mention enforcement, I just would like the viewers to know that Commissioner and I are having this interview without our masks, but we are exercising the social distancing according to the required distance. Commissioner, how does the force enforce an order or the public health ordinance when you, one, have a system or don't have a system where you could hold people in a social distancing manner, and also you are not equipped to do rapid testing of anybody that you might see walking publicly without a mask and so on? How does it work?
Well, we try as much as possible, like I did say, to encourage individuals to act in accordance with the guidelines as set out. But for example, if we have an individual come to the station to make a report, we try our best, and if they're without a mask, we try our best to ensure that they are given one. And so we basically working together to ensure that all and sundry would be aware of the importance of adhering to these guidelines.
On the issue of crime, be it an increase or decrease, where are we with numbers and stats as it relates to serious crimes in this country, robberies, murders, and so on? Based on your last stats, what do we...
Our last stats show a minus 4% when compared to the specific period the previous year.
Serious crimes?
Serious crimes. And while it is a minus 4%, it's not where we thought we should be. One crime, in my opinion, is always one crime too many. And so we're still working in ensuring that we address the issues of crimes we're confronted with. So we've coined strategies to deploy resources to areas where we identify as being crime prone. And so we tackle these situations in a more strategic way.
On the issue of resources, I must let you know that we'll be speaking with Assistant Commissioner Hicken in a subsequent interview, and he will be addressing the issue of operations, and this has to do with ensuring mobility of police for patrols and so on. Commissioner, if we to talk about abuse and what's not during this COVID-19 period, I did speak with Minister of Health, Dr. Frank Anthony, last week, and we addressed that issue. What are your numbers looking like, especially during the period March to now, domestic abuse and all these other sort of crimes?
Well, one of the things we do in the Guyana Police Force is continue to sensitize citizens the importance of ensuring that there's adherence to the measures. But to speak to domestic abuse, we have a zero tolerance approach. The COVID-19 confinement should not cause you to breach the law. Our approach to domestic violence issues or issues of abuse is a zero tolerance approach, and we continue to maintain that.
Regional commanders have been rolling out their individual Christmas security posture, and this has to do with addressing the large gatherings and increased economic activities. What can we expect across the country during this period?
Well, yes, as you're aware, we've launched our Christmas policing plan on the 15th of November. And the plan is aimed at ensuring that security and the safety of all citizens are paramount. We have rolled out this plan countrywide. As you're aware, we have recently realigned, the police divisions have recently been realigned, and that is sometime last year. And so currently we have 12 regional police divisions, because the former 4A or A division has been subdivided into 3 divisions. You know, we have 10 administrative regions, so region 4 is subdivided into 3 areas, hence the reason why we're now having 12 regional police divisions. And yes, we have rolled out our plan to ensure that hotspots, so to speak, are targeted, we have rolled out our plan, and you would now see increased in Aberdeen Foot Patrol, vehicular patrol, bicycle patrol, canine patrol, mounted patrols, and marine patrols. And this is not because it's just the policing plan, but over the years, emphasis has always been placed on the heightened activities during this period, and so we want to ensure that citizens go about their business and it is being done in a safe manner.
We're heading to that time of the year, Commissioner. And just before we go to that, let's take a short commercial break and we'll be back with you as we continue speaking with Commissioner of Police Acting Nigel Hoppy. Welcome back. Commissioner, before we went to the break, I was about to ask you about police promotions. This is the time of the year where you have junior ranks looking forward for a stripe or two or three. Junior ranks, there are also those junior and senior officers who would be looking out also for something. Has the police force started any preparation to address the issue of promotion internally?
Yeah, of course, we have started, and we are now going to remove from that tradition of ensuring that preparation is being made for what you spoke to just now. So, of course, yes, we have started the necessary preparation.
What is happening at the level of the Police Service Commission and the police force? Was a list already sent? I know a list is usually sent, and there's some amount of consultation between the police force and the service commission. Has that also taken place?
Well, if I should say, I just would like to say that we've already commenced preparation, and that's as far as I would like to speak in that regard.
There are several vacancies in the force, which obviously will be filled by, if there is a promotion coming from the service commission this year. If a list was sent to the service commission, do you think the list adequately addresses the issue of filling some of these vacancies? Senior soups, assistant commissioners, superintendent.
Well, whenever we get down to finalizing our preparation for promotion, all the pertinent areas would be addressed, which would include vacancies that are existing.
Okay. There are movements. There have been several movements across the force within the last couple of weeks, months, and so on. I am aware, and some people are aware, those that are familiar with the modus operandi of the force, they understand that promotion is transfer is a part of the kit and so on. But there have been some transfers around the force over the last couple of weeks and months and so on. Do you believe that all those movements were in the best interest of the force, given its needs, given the needs of the departments and so on?
Well, what I would like to say is that ranks of the Guyana Police Force are required to be professional as always and work wherever they're posted to work.
You're accused in some quarters, Commissioner, of taking political direction. I've seen this on social media. I think you might have seen a few also. Very plain. How do you respond to accusations that you take political directions?
Like I said, I've celebrated 33 years recently, and I've always been a professional, and I continue to be a professional in the execution of my duties, simply put.
When the commissioner said 33 years, he wasn't talking about his age. I am 35. The commissioner is speaking about 33 years service to the Guyana Police Force. Um, Commissioner, as we wind down this interview, it's a very short interview today, viewers. Harish Singh, Joel and Isaiah Henry, um, the West Coast Boys teens. What is happening with that investigation? It's one of the probably the biggest bugbear that you've had to deal with since performing the functions of commissioner. What is happening with the investigation? What can you tell us? What can you tell the viewers about what is going on and so on without compromising the ongoing investigation?
Well, the investigation is an ongoing one, and every possible lead would be explored in this regard.
Commissioner, the SSR team came. They submitted a report. We haven't heard much about that report from the premier law enforcement agency, the Guyana Police Force. Is there a particular reason?
Well, I just would like to say, like I just reiterate that the investigation is ongoing. We'll explore all possible leads, and at some time, I'm hoping that we would be able to address it in such a way that all and sundry would be comfortable, because we are exploring the leads to ensure that perpetrators are identified and brought to justice.
The Guyana Human Rights Association initiated a process to raise funds to bring another team here. How will that assist the work already done by the force and SSR, and how is this being handled? Is this a welcome move?
I would speak specifically to our mandate, and our mandate is to ensure that we continue to investigate and explore all possible leads regarding these two crimes.
And finally, as we wrap up our interview with the Commissioner of Police today, Commissioner, for some parting words to our viewers with respect to the Christmas season, what do you expect of them? And before we close this interview, Commissioner, we have seen a lot of persons, a lot of policemen or police officers being battered or being abused physically by members of the public in instances from your sister agency, the Guyana Defense Force. What is happening? Why are we seeing this? How is this force addressing this? What?
Well, as you're aware that we have made a press release in this regard, where persons who continue to assault members of the force will be dealt with according to law. We've even seen a press release from our sister service, the Guyana Defense Force, who would have also said that those involved in such acts would be dealt with according to law. So I would just want to assure you that whenever those activities do pop their heads up, the Guyana Police Force will deal with them appropriately, and that is in accordance with the law.
As the Commissioner of Police, the head of this force, a man that served for 33 years, wearing this uniform, you wore the black and blue, every other color. How do you feel when you look on social media or on the televised newscasts and you see men and women who are serving in this organization being kicked and slapped and thumped and cuffed? How do you feel as a human, as an officer that head this organization?
It's certainly not a good feeling, and hence the reason why we have sent out stern warnings to individuals who may be bent on perpetrating such acts, or who would want to continue to perpetrate those type of behavior acts towards law enforcement agencies. So if I should say, it's certainly not a good feeling.
Some parting words for the viewers, Commissioner?
Yeah, well, during this Christmas season, I'm just asking for all citizens who are going about their business, both shop and otherwise, to be alert in the execution of their business and to consider alternative options of paying for merchandise and other things that they would like to purchase other than the use of cash. So I would just like them to be aware of their surroundings, ensure that where you walk in group, ensure that you walk in areas that are lit, ensure that you do not carry around too much cash, and more importantly, ensure that you should not wear jewelry that would bring attention to yourself, but to execute your duty with that understanding that you're also responsible, along with law enforcement, to ensure that we bring perpetrators to justice, and to not to provide that sense of awareness where ranks or in the Guyana police force would have to be pushing themselves to apprehend those persons who are bent on perpetrating crimes in this season.
This has been Focus. My name is Leroy Smith. We were speaking with Commissioner of Police Acting Nigel Hoppy. Thank you very much for joining us. Do join us here again next week.